Alright, we are at Myoscopal with I-TAL Acres, Medicinal Herb Farm and Apothecary. Give thanks. We just want to show you what it takes to bring these herbs, which we grow here, over 115 species of medicinal plants in our food forest, non-traditional style farm, food forest, under canopy is all interplanted with medicinal herbs everywhere. So we just want to share with you how we grow these plants, prepare these plants, and bring them to you.
So we start with germinating seeds. Every year we start germinating seeds in February. We always have certain herbs we have to grow each year from seed. We have other herbs that we divide and multiply that way in the fall. We tend to these seedlings, plant a lot of them out by May, tend, water, weed them through till they get harvested, which may be that same year for some of the herbs. It may be 2 to 3 years down the road.
So one thing that we wanted to point out about medicinal perennial plants versus annual plants you'd see at a traditional vegetable farm is that perennial medicinal plants are going to be around for a long time and are in no hurry to get big. An annual, you plant the seed, it gets to be a big plant, it produces fruit, and then it dies. These plants grow out very slowly, they take a long time. We have to transplant them up, sometimes pot them up, grow them in a pot for a year or two with some of them before we plant them out to the field. And then once we plant them out to the field, as you can see here, that's a food forest. It's not a typical field. Again, minimal soil disturbance, companion planting, plant guilds. That's our philosophy, and that way we can stop pests, we can stop disease. We don't do any sort of spraying. We're fully organic. We plant on the lunar cycle, and Maya does all of the watering, all of the weeding, all of the tending of the pests, all pest controlled by hand. The only thing we spray around here is neem and some seaweed foliar spray.
We're here with St. John's wort, and this plant is reaching its peak potency where we would be harvesting it. You harvest this plant in flowering, and you want to get the top 10 inches. So what we do is we will come back soon thereafter this video and harvest the plants about this high, and then we'll take these stalks and we'll thresh the leaves and flowers off of the stem, and that's what we'll use to make our oil and our tincture out of the St. John's wort.
Generally speaking, with herbs, you harvest roots in the fall, energy transfer to the leaves. When you're doing a leaf harvest, you want to harvest it in very early flowering or just before flowering, as all the energy's in the leaves. When you want to harvest flower or the entire plant in flower, you can get it in full flower, the leaves, the root, and all. This one, as she talked about, is going to be in flower with the leaves. Behind us we have Chinese red sage, a purple flower back there, which is a root harvest. So that one we'll wait until the fall. In dormancy, we'll dig that up and harvest the root. This is straight from the field. We're able to harvest the plants with fresh herbs. We bring them straight inside and immediately process them into a tincture. And we have just completed our cordwood herb processing center. So we'll go over there and show you, talk a little bit more about how we, after we grow out the plants and harvest them at peak potency, how we then process them.
We've harvested the herb out in the garden. And so in the summer, mostly what we're getting is the tops of plants, called the aerial parts. So we would either take those directly in our building here, or we would go sit in the shade somewhere first and thresh them off the stem, possibly dry them if needed first, before we process them into the tinctures or the oils.
Right, so after threshing, chopping, then to make a tincture, we do a processing in a blender to vortex, the power of the vortex. It breaks up the herb, more surface area for extraction, allows for a better, stronger extraction. It does necessitate the need for a mechanical press at the end. So we then make the tincture with, knowing the menstruum, alcohol being the main. Sometimes you add some apple cider vinegar, glycerin, something like that to it, depending upon what you're extracting. But we make the tincture. After that, we bottle it in large jars and we let it sit in the dark. The sun power photosynthesis gives us the power of these plants. They yield their power to us in the dark. So we keep them in the dark for a minimum of 3 to 4 weeks. A lot of these will sit around for 4+ months, called macerating, while they're yielding their power back, in which time we shake and we stir. And then at the end of that process is the filtering process, where we dump it out through cheesecloth, have to squeeze it all out, then press it in a mechanical press. It gives us all of our tincture back. Then we put those in mother bottles, and we do all of our label design here. We print all of our own labels here. So after we grow it, we prepare it, we bottle it, we design the labels, we put the labels on it, and we make it available to you and to our community, to our families and friends. We make it available on our website, which we also do by ourselves. So again, give thanks. A pleasure welcoming you to I-TAL Acres to show you what it is that we do here. It's a pleasure to have the plants as our boss, the garden as our office, you as our family and our clients and our community. And without you, this wouldn't be possible. We're humbled every day by what we do, and we always give thanks. Blessings.